We've got a conquest coming up against Henry Brand soon, so we thought we'd take a look at Welder Mewtwo. Welcome back everyone to more from the Stabilize. I'm Mitch and today we're going to be taking a look at Welder Mewtwo. We've got a conquest coming up against World Champion Henry Brand in the next couple of days, and since he won Worlds with this deck, we figured what better time to take a look at how this deck could look in the Rebel Clash format. So we'll take a look at the list in just a second. If you haven't already subscribed, please consider doing that. It only takes a second and it's free. You can always unsubscribe later if you feel like it. And we've also got the option to like the video. That would be great. It will help us get some more viewers. More people will see it. Bump it up the algorithm a little bit. That would be great. So without further ado, we'll take a look at the list and see exactly how this version of Welder Mewtwo is going to work for the Rebel Clash format. Okay, so this is perfection. This is Mewtwo and Mew with Welder. We're going to be trying to attach energies to our Mewtwo and Mew with our Welder, touching 2 energy and drawing 3 cards. Obviously, we've only got fire energy in this deck. We've got 10 fire, no psychic or anything like that. We're just going straight in with those fire energies, and this is the list that we have put together. This is a fan favorite for Sam, who is a big fan of Welder Mewtwo. This is the deck that he has had the most success with, so thank you to Sam for putting this list together, as well as playing through some games for us. We really appreciate it. Let's talk about exactly how this deck is going to work. Now, Mewtwo can attack with any of our GX's attacks, so as long as we've got them in play or in the discard pile, we can use them. So we've got things like Solgaleo-GX with Turbo Strike, 120 for 2 energy, plus we get to attach basic energy from the discard pile onto our benched Pokemon. That's really strong. We've got Heatran with Steaming Stomp and Hot Burn, which can also double as an extra attacker. We have Reshiram, which can deal 230 with a Flare Strike, or Magcargo, which can deal upwards of 100, 150, 200 damage with Lava Flow, depending on how much energy you discard. We also have a couple of interesting attackers, things like Incineroar-GX with Crushing Punch, can be very dangerous against things like Dragapult-GX, and Mega Lopunny and Jigglypuff, very powerful, especially against Pikarom. So this deck has a lot of options. We can do a ton of different things. It's all about these Mewtwo's getting powered up. And if you do somehow stumble into stall on the ladder, then you could potentially use Stinger GX to attack with Naganadel. It's also a good idea to use this attack if you are able to take some big knockouts on some tag team GXs. That way you'll be able to win the game very easily. Now, we don't want our Mewtwo's to get knocked out by things like Dragapult. Psychic weakness is pretty average, so Jirachi-GX is in this list so that we can reduce that damage from those pesky Dragapult VMAXs. Psychic Zone will remove our psychic weakness, so that is not an issue for us. We also have a 4-3 Jirachi, the Dedenne line, plus an Eldegoss. This deck has everything in it. It is all about getting through your deck as quickly as possible, finding fire energy and attaching them with Welder. So, in order to do that, we're going to need some Pokemon search, like Quick Ball and Cherish Ball, to be able to find all of those Pokemon that we need. And then once we've found those GXs, we need to discard them. So, things like Fiery Flint to search out energy, or also Giant Hearth. We'll discard Pokemon, put them in the discard pile so that Mewtwo can attack with them, whilst also grabbing some energy for our Welders. We need to switch out of Jirachi, so switch and escape board. It's a common package. I'm sure you've seen it before. We also have Acrobite for that little extra speed, and a couple of Great Catcher as well, so we can target down specific Pokemon on the bench whilst discarding those Pokemon from our hands. Finally, to round out the list, we have 2 copies of Reset Stamp. It's our only hand disruption, so we want to make sure that we can use it, and we've got a single copy of Boss's Orders. We're relying more on the Great Catcher in this version than Boss, because we want to take knockouts on GX Pokemon. Rather than using our supporter, we want to use Welder in a turn if we can. Now, there's a lot of other things that you can play in this version. You can add in some Psychics as well, so you can use things like Naganadel-GX, but we've kept it simple, make it nice and easy so that it's easy enough to get a game with on the ladder. What we'll do is we'll jump in now and see exactly how it goes when we face it off against something else. So it's game time. Thank you very much to Sam for recording this footage for us. First time looking at it here for me. I'm always excited to see new decks being played. So we've got ourselves a decent start here. It is going to be our opponent going first. We're going second. A Jirachi in the active, as well as a Mewtwo that we can bench. We've got 2 Cherish Balls, a Fire Energy, a Quick Ball. We are looking pretty solid to find a Dedenne, which means we've got a really good shot to be able to find a Welder, which would be fantastic. Now, our opponent's got a Jirachi and a Zigzagoon here, so I'm thinking this might be something like a Dragapult list, possibly a combo Zacian deck. Dedenne is discarding a few cards, and yes, it does look like we are going to be playing against Dragapult. Our opponent really blinging out their deck here. They've got pretty much every single card in max rarity, which is going to make it a little bit awkward for us as we're looking at the cards here. All those silver Pokemon on the bench are going to be a little bit difficult to distinguish, but I'm sure we can manage it. They've found a Marnie. They've got a Quick Ball here. They're discarding a Mysterious Treasure. They'll probably grab themselves a Dragapult, and if they've got an attachment, then they're set and ready to go. So this looks like a pretty good turn from our opponent. We can potentially get a little bit of damage done here, and top decking that Dedenne is really good. It means now that we can find multiple different Pokemon with which to attack. So Magcargo being a priority here for Sam. We probably want to grab a Solgaleo as well. That would be great. I see Sam going for the Naganadel-GX as well. That could potentially be an option for us. And we'll Quick Ball to grab ourselves a Jirachi-GX, which is probably the most important card that we could have in this particular matchup. We do not want our opponent to be able to get a free knockout on a Mewtwo. Now, we'll attach here and then just chuck down the Dedenne. We'll put a couple of these Pokemon into the discard pile, and we need Welder and Energy. We haven't got the energy here. We've found Giant Hearth, but the Chaotic Swell is a big problem for us here. So what we'll do is we'll just keep digging through. We'll see what we can find. Cherish Ball here, grabbing a Incineroar, and then we can use a Quick Ball to get rid of that Incineroar. Maybe grab ourselves a second Jirachi, potentially. An Acro Bike here, 2 energy. That's pretty good. That's going to get us at least access to a Welder this turn, but we are going to try and get ourselves some extra stuff. We've got a switch here, so we could switch out of the active into a fresh Jirachi, but in doing so, all we would really do would be trying to find another card which may or may not help us. We'll see what we get here. Doesn't look like we're going to get it. Sam going for the Acro Bike instead of the switch here, so he's relying on some extra cards to try and get those attachments. The switch is by far the safer option, but it just means we won't be able to attack because that Solgaleo didn't go in the bin. So looks like there's a lot of decision making going on here. Looks like we're going to go with the Acro Bike, so we'll see what happens off of the bike. We find ourselves Dedenne and an Energy. That is such a harsh discard, but we do have 2 more, so it's not a problem. We can Welder 2 energy, and we need to find a switch to get out. We actually managed to do it. Oh my goodness. Oh, never punished. Never punished. The Stellar Wish Jirachi out of the active, and then the Giant Hearth gets rid of the stadium. Now we've got a ton of different attacks to choose. Stinger GX is the priority for Sam here, and the reason for that is because if our opponent does attack with Dragapult VMAX, we can use Magcargo-GX to attack with Lava Flow for game. So we are looking like we're in a really, really strong position. Our opponent probably thinks that they're in a good spot too. They only need to take 1 knockout. But little do they know that we are actually in a position to win this game next turn. If they don't put down a new stadium, then Giant Hearth will get us 2 energy. We'll be able to Welder those to the active, attach 6 discards with the Magcargo. We'll absolutely destroy our opponent's Dragapult VMAX. So this is a pretty good spot to be in. Our opponent going for Boss's Orders here, which could be frustrating. If they do decide to attack into something like that Jirachi, then that could be a problem. But no, they're just going to max Phantom. So we actually are in a really strong spot here. All we need to do is find 1 energy off of the Welder or the draw, and we are ready and raring to take this knockout here. A reset stamp's not going to do it. We've got the Giant Hearth though, so we will throw that one down. And I guess you just got a Welder, right? You just got to hope that you can find the energy. We will discard the Mewtwo and then put 2 energies into our hand. We've got 2 flints. We've got 4 energy in the field of in the deck, sorry. So there are plenty of opportunities here for us to get it. All we need to do is find them. So let's Welder to the active. We'll put 2 energy on there, and all we need to do is find 1. We don't find 1. We've got an Acro Bike though, so we could Acro Bike to try and find that energy. We're gonna find the energy. Oh, we don't find the energy. We could switch into the Jirachi here. Switch into Jirachi, try and find ourselves that Fiery Flint maybe. Yes, we got it. Okay, cool. So we're going to be able to find some energy here. We can discard 2 cards from our hand. Doesn't matter which ones. Get ourselves some energy out of the deck. Attach one of them to the Mewtwo. And then Magcargo-GX. We're going to attack with Lava Flow. 4 game. That'll be 350 damage. That's insanity. That's a massive, massive hit for a Mewtwo GX. We're taking out the Dragapult. And because of the Stinger, we've managed to win the game. So, very well done there by Sam. Very good play, managing to get the win against Dragapult, which could be pretty difficult. Victory. So even though Mewtwo is not one of the decks that we are seeing floating around the top tiers of play at the moment, it is still incredibly strong. You saw how quickly we were able to dismantle a Dragapult deck there. Mewtwo is still super powerful, but obviously Welder makes it a little bit tougher. If you aren't able to find them, then you can't get those kind of explosive turns. Anyway, thank you very much for your viewership. We appreciate you coming by. Thanks to Sam as well for his help on this one. We always appreciate it. And if you like this kind of content and you want to see more, then please consider subscribing. Click the button that's just about here over on this side of the screen. There are some videos that YouTube thinks you'll like, as well as down the bottom a playlist for more of our Rebel Clash content. Check out the videos for the next couple of days. We're going to be seeing a conquest against Henry Brand, which is very exciting. And apart from that, we'll see you all next time for more from the Sableyes. Bye.